Oh, wait. There it is. Good morning. Welcome to the August 21st, 2025 meeting of the Downtown Design Commission. My name is Kayla Copeland. I am the chair of the commission. The agenda and documents are located at https://okc.primgov.com/public/portal. You would then select the Downtown Commission meeting, then click on the agenda items, and relevant documents will come up below. Please see the agenda for additional information regarding meeting procedures and the review process. If you're parked in the Sheridan Walker parking garage north of John Rex Elementary School or in the Arts District parking garage south of City Hall, staff can provide a parking validation ticket for you. Keith, will you please call roll?
Copeland.
Here.
Schmid.
Here.
Black.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. So we'll move on to item 2, approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
That passes. We move to item 3, cases withdrawn, and there are none. And we go to item 4, continuance request, and there are none. Item number 5, consent document or docket, and there are also none. And then we'll move to item 6 for cases for individual consideration. We'll start with item A, BCA-25-00004 at 4 East Sheridan Avenue.
Thank you. Commissioners, this item was on your agenda on the July 17th meeting, and it was a proposal to put a sign on the near the at the upper portion of the east elevation of the building at 4 East Sheridan Avenue. It was proposed to be attached to the building. It's a painted sign to be painted over unpainted brick, and that was an issue that was addressed at the meeting in July. Unfortunately, when we began researching the next item on the agenda today, we came to realize that I had misinterpreted the way that the sign on the existing sign on the west elevation had been calculated into the mix for the calculation of sign area on the project that was approved in July. As it turned out, that sign, at the time it was installed in 2015, there was no maximum attached wall sign area for the entire building at the time. That only came into play about a year later. And the reason that we thought it did not count when we evaluated this project for the last meeting is that we thought that it was under the exemption for ghost signs because the J.E. Dunn sign on the west elevation had been painted over an existing ghost sign. But that exemption did not take place until also about a year later in 2016 when we updated the sign code regs and all the other regs for Bricktown. So what we came to find was that the reason that there was no issue with the J.E. Dunn sign at the time it was approved is because it met the 15% limitation that was in place for the wall on the west elevation, and there was no overall cap that it would have exceeded at the time. So taking that all into consideration, the sign on the west elevation should have been taken into calculations in review of the project that you approved last month. And knowing that now, that means that the sign that was approved last month also needed a variance because it exceeds the 404 square foot cap for the entire building that was not in place back in 2015. So bottom line is we've kind of landed on the right place in terms of where we think this needs to be, and we do acknowledge the fact that a variance is required, and we are recommending that the commission provide a recommendation of approval to the Board of Adjustment for this variance request. That completes our presentation, and we're prepared to respond to any questions that the commission may have.
I have no questions. I appreciate the update and kind of correcting this. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this? Okay. If not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to provide a recommendation of approval to the Board of Adjustments for a variance from the maximum sign area for attached wall signs on a building.
I'll second.
And that passes. Okay, we'll move to item B, which is BCA-25-00005 at 4 East Sheridan Avenue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item coincidentally is on the same building as the last application, only this time we're looking at the entire package with his proposal for the sign itself and a variance request along with it that is based on the same assumptions that we just went over on the last particular application. So under the current code, which was adopted, well, the current sign code was adopted in March of last year, but it rolled into it regulations that had been developed when we updated the sign code for Bricktown in 2016. In that 2016 update, we included provisions in the code for ghost signs, and I think, in case you don't know what a ghost sign is, it's a sign painted on the brick wall of a building in the Bricktown area that has been up there for decades, and because it's been exposed to the elements, sunlight, so on and so forth, it's just faded into the background, but it's still a sign. There are still a number of them present and visible throughout the district. However, this particular one was repainted back in 2015 over an existing ghost sign under provisions in the code that allowed it, well, those provisions came into play a year after this was approved. It gets a little confusing. Anyway, we now have regulations in the current sign code that do allow for ghost signs that are existing in the Bricktown area to be either recreated or repurposed for new tenants in the building. And it does say that the ghost signs themselves, if left alone, would not count toward the overall sign area for the building, and that's a measure or an effort in the design of the code language to try and help preserve those in place and not penalize the building owner for having that sign on their building and still allowing other signs to be placed on the building. However, that exemption does not extend to new signs that had been painted over ghost signs. So it gets really complicated. Anyway, because this sign was painted over a ghost sign, at the time it was approved in 2015, it did not need a variance because there was no 400 square foot cap for all the attached signs on a building. However, because now there is that cap, a variance is needed for this sign to be painted over again with a new tenant name. The upshot of this is that this sign is already in existence. The new sign that's being proposed is in the same location, it's in the same size, so there's essentially no expansion of the amount of signage on the building. It's just that under the current regulations, it's over the cap, and it needs a variance just like the last project did. So, that being said, we are recommending to the Commission that you provide a recommendation to the Board of Adjustment of approval for this variance request, and we're prepared to respond to any questions the Commission may have.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions? Any comments from the audience? Okay. I think we'll entertain a motion for this too.
I will move to approve the application on the basis that the project meets the regulations and guidelines of the Bricktown Core Development District zoning ordinance as referenced in section C and D of the staff report, with the condition that the applicant shall obtain a variance from the Board of Adjustment from the maximum allowable area for attached wall signs of 250 square feet.
I'll second.
And that passes. So we'll move on to item 7, which is other business. And we show none.
Wait, did we do a separate motion for a recommendation to Board of
It
Adjustment?
wasn't in the agenda.
Yeah, it was.
It's variance required from maximum, it's in the agenda. Maybe, is it not in the staff report?
Maybe it's not in the staff report. Would you like a second motion from me?
Yes, if
I'd
we
like
could do
to-
a motion,
To make a motion for approval,
recommendation of approval to
recommendation of
Board of
approval to the
Adjustment.
Board of Adjustments for a sign that is greater than 250 square feet.
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
Second.
And that passed.
Thank you.
Thanks for catching that.
Thank you.
So we'll go back to item 7, which is other business, and this shows none. Item number 8, communications. Is there anything the staff would like to share?
I don't think we have anything particularly noteworthy in administrative approvals. We're always happy to answer any questions you all might have. If you see something there that you'd like to know more about, feel free to reach out to us before or after the meeting. And then on to comments from planning department staff. We do have a meeting, September 18th. We know we have potentially some items that members will have to recuse on, so you all will be getting an early quorum call. So be on the lookout for that, or let us know ahead of time if you know you're not going to be available on that date. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any comments from the commission members? Okay. Our next meeting day, as Katie said, is September 18th. There's no script in here, so I'm gonna just say our next meeting is September 18th. You do have applications due. If you're interested, it's listed on the website, I'm sure, by the planning department when that is due. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting.